Hello, my name is Barbara Kay, and on behalf of my co-host Susan Pertnoy and the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, I'd like to welcome you to our program, MOSAIC.
We're on location today at the JCC celebrating one big Purim. We'll be back with our guests and our program after this brief message.
Community, like every gift, counts. Together, we can ensure a vibrant Jewish future. Federation and you, changing the world together.
It was a shock when my smart, strong husband had a stroke. His mind was agile, but everything else failed him. I didn't see how he could possibly recover. But through patience, skill, and compassion, the caregivers at Morse Life brought him back to himself. They brought him back to me.
Morse Life Short-Term Rehabilitation. Morse Life. Honoring senior living.
What if you could change the world? You can. We can do it together. With the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, you are here, and we are all connected. Together, we can enrich Jewish life, care for vulnerable populations, and build global Jewish community. That's what we do, every day, here at home and around the globe.
Welcome to MOSAIC, and welcome to you, Rabbi.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here. You're the new spiritual leader for Temple Beth David in Palm Beach Gardens.
You got it, yeah.
Yeah, brand new.
Brand new, just came in July.
Wow. Meanwhile, you're the one that developed this whole creative concept that we're hearing behind us with the music and the cotton candy and
Right.
the whole nine works.
Well, I didn't develop it. This really was a team project. I just helped bring the team together.
Yeah, but let me just ask you something before we discuss what's going to take place here. Talk about your background a little bit. Where did you come from, and something about you?
Sure. So I was the rabbi of a temple in Canton, Massachusetts, which is just about 12 miles southwest of Boston, for 16 years. I went there even before I graduated from rabbinical school. I was their religious leader, and then I became their rabbi. I was also the head of a day school, a Schechter Day School, up north, and a chaplain at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So I did a lot of work up in the Boston area. It's where I went to college, and so I just stayed there after college and after rabbinical school. And last year, the opportunity came up for me to say, it's time for a new adventure. And so my family decided to come along for the adventure, and we all schlepped down to Florida from Boston after many, many years up there.
Yeah, you're lucky you're out of Boston now.
Boy, I picked the right year to leave, didn't I?
You did. Perfect.
I really
Perfect.
did, yeah. I still learn every Wednesday. I have a class that I do online, and I teach. I have students in California, I have a student in Texas, I have students, my friends in Boston, my congregants in Boston, so I still see them every Wednesday online, and every Wednesday I get to make fun of how much they're suffering.
Don't you invite them to come down?
I do, and it's very strange to be the destination as opposed to the one who visits the destination. It's very strange to have all my Boston friends coming to visit me as if I'm the vacation.
That's very nice. I like that. The whole thing,
Yeah.
terrific. But listen, you're also known as the rock and roll kid.
Rock and roll rabbi.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So I'm a musician. I've been a musician for a number of years. I have 6 full-length albums of Jewish music that I've produced that are, thank God, sung in synagogues and camps
you
around
produce
the
it?
country. Yeah, I write, I produce, I sing, I play. I do it all. I've had 2 bands that I've worked with. My music's on iTunes and Amazon and all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, and I sort of became the rock and roll rabbi because I like to rock and roll a little bit.
So what do you do in the service? Do you incorporate your rock and roll business?
Yes, a little bit. I mean, we tame it down a little bit for the service, but yeah, we do, absolutely. I play guitar during our services, and we use some of my tunes during our services, lots of other people's tunes also.
Really?
So, yeah.
You know what's wonderful? First of all, when someone had told me that, heard that I was going to interview you, they said, "Oh, that's the sweetest, nicest man you're ever going to meet."
Don't believe them.
I don't? No?
No.
Okay. But you have a very nice way about you, and you have a
thank you.
jolly smile. All right, tell me how you came up with the concept of this collaboration of all of the wonderful things that are taking place here.
Sure.
Okay.
When I was in Boston, Boston, I've learned, is a very different community than down here, but we face many of the same challenges. And one of the challenges that we faced up north is collaboration and working together. And so I spent a tremendous amount of time when I was up north trying to get organizations to work together, with some success and some not success. And then I came here, and I'm a member of the JCC. My kids go to Meyer Academy. I'm in love with Rabbi Kapitolnik and the Temple Judea family, and I'm at Temple Beth David, and we're all literally on the same block.
Yeah, we're
and yet,
very close.
We're all on the same block,
Yeah.
and yet we were all going to have our own Purim celebrations, and that just seemed silly to me. I mean, here we are. We all have skills, unique skills and gifts that we can bring to the table. We can create something together that we could never do on our own. I could never do a Purim Carnival like this on my own at Temple Beth David, nor could Meyer or the JCC or Temple Judea. But when we come together, look what we're able to create. This is going to be an amazing day for the entire community to come together. And so I'm really all about collaboration. I want us to work together because at the end of the day, my job is to give to the Jewish people and give to the Jewish community and build the Jewish community. And if I can do a better job of that by working with other people, then that's what we need to do.
Yeah, but I think it's wonderful because you create an awareness of the opportunity that exists in this community that I don't think people really understand.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very important for us to have a collective experience like this.
It is. And one of the tricks about collaboration is really allowing each institution to offer something unique. It's not just, we're very lucky that the Federation wanted to help support this event. We're very, very blessed. But the money alone isn't enough. The JCC is able to host it. The location alone isn't enough. Meyer Academy already has their Purim Carnival today. We were able to piggyback on that, but that wasn't enough. Every single organization gave something unique to this process and to this collaboration that really allowed it to happen. And I'm thrilled that this is only one collaborative project. I'm doing this with these institutions, Temple Beth Am in Jupiter, Temple Judea, and Temple Beth David. We're starting something we're calling Jewish Visitors, which is we're working with Jupiter Medical Center, and we're creating a group, we're training a group of Jewish members of our communities to go visit Jewish patients in the hospital because there's no Jewish chaplain on staff at the hospital in Jupiter.
What a wonderful idea.
And so we're actually in the midst right now of training. We have about 12 volunteers from all of our communities. They're going through a pretty rigorous training, and then they're going to be setting up a schedule so that they can make sure every Jewish patient gets visited. No organization could do that on their own, but together we can do amazing things.
Yeah, you know something? Together as a people, we can do amazing things.
That's right. I just came from AIPAC, and whether or not you agree with the politics, there is a tremendous power to being in a room with 16,000 other people who share your dream of a peaceful Middle East and a peaceful Israel. You're right. Together, we can do anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, today we're going to have a wonderful experience. I can hear all the
I
music. Can you hear the music
I
coming
can
in?
hear the music, and I want to get in the bumper cars. I haven't done the bumper cars yet.
Well, we're going to meet some of your other partners.
I'm so glad.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was an honor to meet you. Thank you so much for spending time here today.
My pleasure.
All right.
Welcome, Rabbi Kapitolnik.
It is good to be here and good to have your name said right.
Yes, Temple
Thank you.
Judea
Definitely.
is your forum. Tell us, you're an expert on Purim. Please give
try
us
to
a
be.
little background of the holiday.
The best Jewish holiday there is. Who doesn't like Purim? It's a holiday that allows us to reach in and connect to our inner child. Basically telling the story about the kingdom of Ahasuerus in Persia of over 2,000 years ago, where the Jews, yet another plan to extinguish, to get rid of the Jewish people failed with the evil Haman. We should all go, right? We're supposed to blot out his name, exactly. And we celebrate this idea that throughout history, as a Jew, we were always a persecuted people. And somehow, with the help of God, despite the fact that God does not appear in the story of Purim.
What does that mean?
It's very interesting. It's the only text, it's the only book, the only Megillah in the entire Jewish Bible that the name of God isn't mentioned. Actually, we know that the rabbis, when they were codifying the Bible were arguing, should we even put this story inside? Because how would we put something that has no name of God mentioned in it? And they decided to, because the real value of this story is that God is with us and helps us and saves us and creates miracle even when we don't see the name, even when we don't maybe know or feel the presence of God. He's always in the background there helping us and making sure that we're safe. And so we celebrate this holiday of this beautiful victory, and we allow ourselves to connect to that inner child. So there are a lot of fun activities related to
tell us
Purim.
about some of
so
those.
First of all, the costumes. It's very interesting because God was hidden in this story. We allow ourselves to also be a bit hidden. We allow ourselves to understand that some things are not exactly as we see them. And so sometimes people are not exactly as you see them at first. And that's why the masks come. We're supposed to rejoice in Adar, and so there's some drinking involved in Purim. It's the holiday in which you're allowed to drink until you can't tell the difference between Haman and Mordechai. Not too much, but just enough to understand that sometimes things don't look exactly as they appear. But the most important commandment of them all is the commandment that people know as Mishloach Manes, or Shalach Manes. It's the idea that we give. We give to others, not just to the poor. There are matanot levyonim, we have to give tzedakah like we do in so many other occasions. But it really is a holiday where you prepare some kind of basket with goods and you go and give to your neighbors, not necessarily to those in need, not necessarily to the hungry, not necessarily to the poor. I like to see it as the exact opposite of Halloween. On Halloween, you go and knock on doors and ask for candy. In Purim, you just take a plate with hamantashen and with other things, and you go say hello to your neighbors and say, here, I want to offer you something. I want to share with you a little bit of my blessings.
It's a beautiful tradition.
It's a beautiful tradition. So we have masks, and we have shalach manas, and we have gifts for the poor, and we have costumes, and of course reading the story, which everybody loves, with the groggers, and making sure that every time Haman's name is mentioned, we make some noise.
Well, we're here today at a wonderful celebration, and what's really special about it is that it's collaborative. Can you talk about the importance of that?
Definitely. There's a lot of differences and a lot of schisms within our Jewish community where we celebrate things in different ways. And we really have just a few occasions every year where the differences don't exist, that we all celebrate the same way, halachically and not halachically, that we can find more in common, more that unites us than sets us apart. And Purim is probably the best example of it all. It is a simple holiday to celebrate. It's about joy. It's about coming together. And so when we noticed for the last few years that each one of the organizations, synagogues that live here among Hood Road is doing something on their own, it just didn't look. It looked so unnecessary that each one will make their own effort. And so the idea came together, and we sat, and it's a holiday about miracles, and here it is, a beautiful miracle where the Meyer Academy and the JCC and Temple Beit David and Temple Judea very easily, much more easily I think than some people believed, sat together with the help, the generous help of the Jewish Federation that underwrote this, that we're so grateful because we came up with the idea, we came up with the work, but you always need to find the funds as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm so thankful for the Jewish Federation. We put it together, and I think that this is going to be a first sign, and hopefully not the last, that shows people that we have more in common, that we can work together, and that when we come together, we create better things for everyone.
That's absolutely true. And Rabbi David's waiting for you in the bumper cars. So
I'm ready.
We'll see you later.
It's all about Purim. Connect to the child within you.
That's right.
I'm going to go
Thank
connect.
you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with the remainder of our program after this brief message.
My wife is the light of my life. Being her caregiver is both a joy and a challenge. I'm determined to stick with it, but it can be exhausting. I need support. Morse Life is here to help us. We look forward to seeing them. Morse Life Home Healthcare. Morse Life. Honoring senior living.
Thousands of community members come together through programs and services provided by Federation and our local partner agencies to create a vibrant and vital community in Palm Beach County. Together, we can ensure a vibrant Jewish future. Federation and you, changing the world together.
Welcome back, and welcome to you, Mindy Hankin, Executive
you.
Director of the Jewish Community Center. You are amazing.
Thank you, Barbara.
It is so exciting out there.
It is.
How do you feel about this collaboration?
I'm so excited about this collaboration. You know, the JCC has done several programs with the synagogues and the other agencies in the community, but never Purim. This is the first year that we're working together to bring Purim to the entire community.
You know, it was interesting. I was talking to Rabbi David earlier, and he was talking about the fact that he's going to try to keep this collaboration going.
I hope
you
so.
know? You know, because it's nice. First, it's wonderful for the community.
Right.
And look at the excitement out there. I can't believe it. What's taking place here?
So we have a lot of activities taking place for children of all ages. So we have rides, games, activities, there's a magician, there are tricks and food, there's tons of stuff going on.
Yeah, we're going to cover some of it so that our viewers can get a chance to see what's going on
Good.
here. But the JCC is an important component for the community anyway.
Absolutely.
You know?
The JCC is a full-service community center. So it's really where people can gather and experience Jewish life in any way that's meaningful to them. In education, social, cultural, recreational activities. We have people here every day, all day, for tons of different activities.
Yeah, you know, it's wonderful because it's like an in-gathering. It's a safe,
Yeah.
secure place. People come from all over, settle in this area,
Right.
and they want to find a place that they feel at home, and they come here.
You know, it's one of the last public squares
Yeah.
that Jewish people can gather, and whatever takes place, they can feel comfortable and secure and know that they're in a meaningful Jewish place.
Yeah. So actually, what's your favorite part of this whole experience?
Oh my goodness.
I want to know.
You know, really, it's about strengthening Jewish life in the Palm Beaches. So I'm not here, the JCC's not here to dictate what that means for each individual person or family or adult. It's really offering a lot of different opportunities for people to engage in Jewish life. And when I see people start to get involved in one activity and then become more and more involved and transformed through the activities that take place here, that's what makes me happy.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You cover the whole demographics too.
We do. We
Wonderful.
have children from 3 months old all the way through, you know, people that are over 100 years old.
Speaking of children, we're going to be speaking to Nami, who is the head of the school.
And now we're sharing our campus together.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
Anyway, whatever. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Welcome, Nami Ikalov, headmaster of the Meyer Academy. I really should say welcome back. We featured your academy at your new location in the beginning of the season.
Yes.
So tell us, how's it going?
Fantastic. Better than we could have ever imagined.
You're all settled in?
The new school, the new experience, the teachers have definitely settled in by now. The students settled in immediately. For them, it was a new home that they just embraced and loved from day one. So it's a lot of fun.
It's a spectacular new home.
It is.
How was your first Purim celebration today?
Exciting beyond belief. We were nervous going into it because it was a new property, so we didn't know how we would spread it out, how the children would flow from one place to another, but the space was just incredible. We had so many more blow-up games and toys and celebrations, and we had our standard Purim holiday booths, and then we also had the booths that were themed for the holiday. It was a lot of fun.
How do you teach Purim?
So we teach Purim hands-on. We have the student experiences in the classroom where we do some of the history, we teach about the characters, we teach about the events, and then we also want them to be able to celebrate and extend it outside of the classroom. So we did Mishloach Manot for members in the community. We also did Mishloach Manot for themselves, and the families got all participated. So we fulfilled that mitzvah. Read the Megillah, we fulfilled that mitzvah. We celebrated, we fulfilled that mitzvah. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you do this much for all the holidays?
We try to. The beauty of being a Jewish day school is that we can really enjoy the holidays as part of our daily experience. So naturally, we always do our science and our social studies and our math and our language arts. Those are part of the core curriculum. But being a Jewish day school, we're able to add in the Jewish values piece and celebrate the Jewish holidays. So it's really, it's sort of, it's a gestalt. Everything is all at once.
No, it's terrific. Now we're here this afternoon for a very special collaborative event.
Yes.
And what do you think about the importance of this?
Well, it's been a wonderful experience. I mean, the agencies on Hood Road got together. Obviously, the JCC's, Mandel JCC and Meyer Academy have a natural partnership here, being on the same property, but we extended it out with the synagogues, Temple Judea and Temple Beth David on Hood Road, and we were able to all come together and really create this amazing one big Purim celebration for the community.
It's terrific. Let's go celebrate.
Absolutely.
Right,
Thank you.
We're here with bakers from Beth David's Hamantaschen group, and we have the Hamantaschen Queen with us. Could you tell us your name?
My name is Pam Schlomowitz.
and
I'm
yours?
Linda Fain. I'm co-president of the temple.
Nina Kessel, Vice President of Education.
Okay, but meanwhile, you're major cooks.
We're a major
Could you tell us about how this group emanated?
We had a religious school fundraiser about 5 years ago called the Cookie Craze, and we asked that members bring in their favorite recipe for their cookies, and we all baked at the synagogue, and then everyone went around, the members grabbed their cookies that they wanted to buy, and Pam came with her recipe for Hamantaschen, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, we have to do this for Purim. This would be a great fundraiser, just to make the Hamantaschen specifically. And for 5 years, we've been baking in the kitchen at Temple Beth David, and we have various volunteers that come. We bake for 3 days. They've ranged in ages from age 14 to 90-year-old women.
And men, I heard.
Men, too, yeah.
The men are awesome.
I think that's wonderful. And you all get together. It's a social experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You meet people that you normally wouldn't meet in different areas of the temple because this is a common thing that we all enjoy doing. So it's a way to bond, and we hear stories from other moms, and moms will tell us things that are happening with their kids, and we share stories about ours. So it's nice.
And if you became the queen because it's your recipe?
This is a recipe that was given to me just before I got married in San Francisco 38 years ago by a lovely woman in our synagogue who took me under her wing and really was like a mother to me. And then I brought it to Beth David, and it is an absolutely awesome recipe.
I've been told that you, at one time for each season, you've made up to 2,000 Hamantaschen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
I wish I
incredible.
had kept a lifetime record because I'm in the tens of thousands of Hamantaschen that I've baked, but 2,000 at Beth David just about every year.
Well, you deserve the crown. Now tell us what's going
Yes,
to take
let's-
place here.
So the recipe is like a lot of other baked goods. It involves wet ingredients, which go in first. So the first thing we add is the sugar, 1.25 cups of sugar, and 4 eggs, large eggs, not extra large, those don't work. And we have a tablespoon of lemon juice and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's one more very important wet ingredient, 1 cup of oil, vegetable oil. That's generally what I use. I haven't tried other oils, so I'm not going to say they don't work, but just good old-fashioned vegetable oil works great.
And you just mix that up?
Right, and so it looks very sloppy and yellow and wet, and that's exactly how it should look.
And you
Then-
want to mix the wet ingredients before the flour.
Absolutely.
Or the flour's
So
last.
I like the way that looks, nice and sloppy and yellow. So in goes 5 cups of flour, regular old all-purpose flour, not bread flour, not cake flour, not whole wheat flour. If you want to get healthy with this is maybe not the recipe for you.
Okay.
And also in goes a tablespoon of baking powder, the whole tablespoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get in there. And so Nina is mixing away, and the interesting thing about this dough, I wish I could say it comes out exactly the same every time, but it generally comes out consistently, but the final test is to get in with hands and
Oh, that's
go,
fun.
oh yes, that feels right. I mean, it's just an experiential thing.
So then she just rolls it out on here?
Right, so that's after this dough is completed, then we're going to prepare the counter by throwing flour all over it, and it gets rolled out. And so I can tell you that this dough is a little bit wet. Don't know why. Pour a little flour into it. So then
The queen
she's
is
a
getting involved.
No, this is really
spoken long.
this is my role. I am quality control in this particular effort. We're almost there with this dough. So I push it all together until I don't see any flour in it anymore. And the very next step will be to put lots of flour on the counter and roll it out. So this dough,
what you gave us the recipe for, how many Taschen
about
should that?
40.
Oh, wow.
40.
And
Wow.
we almost exclusively use solo fillings. Really, in my opinion, this is the best filling on the market for fruit fillings. We also use Nutella, which is delicious, but it does have a nut base, so if people have nut allergies, that is not the filling for them.
And we have another chocolate recipe that we use.
Oh.
When we were doing it at the temple, we had to have a parve recipe. So we had a chocolate parve recipe with parve chocolate chips.
Oh.
So my dough device goes in there, and I see that that's a little thick there, so I'm going to roll this way and thin it out a little bit. Cut as many circles as I possibly can the first time around. Take all the extra scraps away, throw them in a bowl.
Do you
We'll
wanna get in
re-roll
a bowl?
them later for more Hamantaschen.
Why don't you show us an example of how
You
you
get it in the shape, right?
Sure. Linda, why don't you use the spoons and put some filling in one
Sure.
of the Hamantaschen?
Okay, so sides come up, and then the
Pinch.
bottom comes up to meet it.
Oh, look at
We
that.
try not to
Yeah.
pinch it, because when you pinch it, it makes it long and skinny at the ends. So we try to just gently get them to kiss.
The kiss.
I
I like
like
that.
that.
And the end result is
So we have, this is what a pan full of Hamantaschen looks like before it goes into the oven. You can put them pretty close together, and then it gets baked at 350 degrees for about 18 minutes
okay.
or so. And when all is said and done, you have a plate full of Hamantaschen.
Wow.
Prune, raspberry, chocolate. Poppy seed, of course, is traditional, but it's not one of my favorites, so I don't know that there are any poppy seed on this
Well,
particular platter.
Can I tell you something that was so nice of you to share this opportunity? This is very, very significant for Purim.
It's been a lot of fun to do this project.
I'm sure on many levels.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That was a wonderful experience. Look at this. Look what's happening here.
It's amazing. It really is amazing.
Collaboration is the thing. I love it.
really is.
And a happy holiday to you.
You too. Happy Purim.
And a happy holiday to everybody here. Be with us again next week when we have another look into the Jewish world. Goodbye from MOSAIC.